Hello, and welcome to my balcony. You know, I love star trail photos, and I've taken a few myself. They've always been shot in dark skies, but I've always wondered, can you shoot star trails in light-polluted New York City? Well, let's find out. My balcony is where I started my astrophotography journey. I took my first astrophoto of the moon with my Celestron 4SE and my iPhone. Now since then, I've done deep sky imaging right down there in my courtyard and over there on the waterfront. I can't really do any deep sky stuff from my balcony because, well, I'm facing south-southwest and Polaris is obstructed by, well, my building. So I'm limited to what I can do from here, but today we're going to test those limits by attempting some star trails. Now New York City is a portal 9 in light pollution, which means even on a good clear night, I can only make out a handful of stars if I'm lucky. But the camera sensor can see so much more than a human eye, and I'm willing to bet, with the help of my camera, I can in fact get a decent star trail image. Not a great one, but a decent one. Tonight is also the peak of the Perseid's meteor shower. Now, I know I won't be able to see that from the city, but I may try to hop on over to the roof deck and point my camera towards the radiant in the shower, and maybe I'll get lucky. But the main focus are the star trails. Okay, now that everything is set up, we just have to wait for nightfall. Alright, so I am outside on my balcony. I've got my camera set up with my, I don't know if you can see it, my Canon EOS RP full frame, as well as my Rokinon 14mm wide angle lens. And I've got my intervalometer here. There's a lot of light pollution, as to be expected. But, you know, we're gonna see. It's an experiment. Got a whole bunch of stars out. But it is a nice, clear night here in New York City. Alright. Let's see where we're at here. 5 more shots left. Well, I hope that we got something. Well, that's all she wrote. Sugar images here. See how we did. Clouds came in. So just inspecting this, I have picked up a few stars here, which is great. Oh, interesting. That's actually really good. But yeah, we've got some stars. We've got quite a few actually. Wow. Riding off the high of that successful imaging session, I decided to relocate to my rooftop deck and hunt for meteors. It is 2:30 a.m. and I am in the clubhouse of my apartment building. It's pretty nice, right? It's very modern, kind of Star Trek-y. Anyways, my camera's out there. It's been shooting for about an hour now, so I'm gonna go check and see. It's a nice view of the city. It's Manhattan over there. And let's see here. There's my camera. Clouds rolled through earlier in the, I don't know. I'm hoping it's clearer now. I can't tell. It's probably still pretty cloudy. But let's check. Let's check the frame here. Yeah, see, just a lot of clouds. I don't know why it's auto-rotating. Yep. Just lots and lots of clouds. That's unfortunate. But you know, it was a good try. I'm hoping there's at least one. Nope, that's it. No go. Oh well. You know, it was a good try. But you know, I'm kind of liking this outdoor rooftop area here. I'm wondering if I could do some deep sky imaging over here. I don't know. It's going to depend because I don't know if I have a view of Polaris. See how tall this building is? Yeah. And see, even if like Polaris was like right here, when I do my polar alignment, you know, my telescope has to slew like 60 degrees this way, and this building's gonna be in the way. So I don't know. It's too bad because this is a good space. Oh well. All right. Well, it's time to pack up. Well, I definitely had better luck hunting stars than I did meteors. Oh well, I had to try. I am definitely excited though to process my star images. Okay, so I'm back in my apartment. I've got my images here on my Mac, and let's just take a quick look here. Yeah, that was Jupiter right there, that bright dot. And let's just kind of pan around the image and see how many stars we have. Looks like there are a few. There's some right there. Do we have any more? Let's kind of pan around. Yeah, I see some there. There's like a group of stars. And yeah, there's some more right there. Okay, this actually looks pretty promising. This makes me happy. So the next thing we'll do is load up StarStax, which is a star trails stacking program for the Mac. And I'm going to import all of my images. I've got about 149 total. I'm just going to drag it across and onto the StarStax app. And it imports pretty quickly. I'm pretty impressed by that. And we're going to just adjust some settings here. Under the blending mode, we'll choose gap filling. That seems to work the best. And the other ones I just kind of keep the default settings. There's also an option to save after each step, which is kind of nice. It comes in handy when you want to create a Star Trails animation later on. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to input a location to save each of those files. Okay, now we're ready to start the Star Trails stacking. I'm going to click on the output file option, and it's going to start processing each image. And you can see it's starting to slowly trail those stars. There's about 149 images to stack, so I'm not going to show you all of them. I'll pause the screen recording and I'll come back once we've made a little bit more progress, okay? Okay, we're about halfway through all the images, and it's looking pretty good. I'm seeing some more star trailing here. Yeah, I think it's going to end up being a pretty decent image. So I will come back once we're completed. Okay, so we're done processing, and I'm going to now save this file, and I'll open it up in preview and take a look and see what we have. All right, let's see how we did. Yeah, there are definitely some trails. There's some really faint ones, and there are some brighter ones, but it looks pretty good. And I'm not too worried about the faint ones because we're going to process that later and bring out a little bit more detail and brightness. But overall, this is really impressive. Oh my God, look at that. That is a meteor. Oh, that's part of the Perseid's meteor shower. Oh, I actually got a bunch. Well, I guess I am a meteor hunter after all. They are pretty low. Alright, so just real quick, I want to double check the meteor shower with my PhotoPills app. So as you can see, the Perseids, yeah, they were pretty low actually at the time that I took these photos. So yes, it would make sense that the meteors I captured would appear in the lower right hand corner. So I think it checks out. Great. Alright, let's go on to the next step. Okay, so I use Affinity Photo. It's like Photoshop, but it's not Photoshop. I know a lot of astrophotographers use Photoshop and Lightroom. I would, but I have this thing about renting software. I don't really believe in that. I want to own the software outright, and so until that happens with Adobe, I'm going to stick with Affinity Photo. Alright, so we're going to do a quick curves adjustment here, where I'm going to brighten up the star trail like so, and then I'm going to darken the sky a bit like that. You're gonna have to play around with the settings, of course. This is all very subjective. And after the curves adjustment, I'm going to also do a brightness and contrast adjustment here. So now I'm going to do a quick adjustment for the brightness and contrast. There's like a lot of light pollution in the lower part of the image, so you got to be very careful about blowing that out. The goal right now is to just try to get as much detail out of these stars so that I can go back and touch up the stars, because that's the most important part, and obviously to preserve the meteors as well. Okay, so I actually don't like what the brightness and contrast are doing to the image, so I'm just going to reset it, and I'm going to go for a levels adjustment, which I think will help me out here. Again, I'm not a pro at this. Everyone has their own approach, and this is my approach, and I'm continuing to evolve and learn, and that's what makes it fun, right? So here I'm going to adjust the black point and the gamma. Again, the goal is to get as much detail out of the stars as possible. And once I finish that, I'm going to merge visible to create a new layer that has all these settings. This is very similar to Photoshop. And I'm going to label it, and then I'm going to do something that's a little controversial, but I think it's just one way to skin a cat. I'm going to actually dodge my stars to bring out the detail. Some people prefer masking. You can do that as well. I think it's about the same amount of time actually. So here I'm going to select the where's that dodge tool? Dodge tool. I'm going to check the stabilizer, have that turned on. I'm going to only dodge the highlights, and I'm going to preserve the hue. So this will actually give me a little bit more control as I drag the mouse cursor over the trails, as you can see here, once I get started. And yeah, you just kind of go over it. The little stabilizer arrow, it helps keep you in line with the trail there, and I think it's quite effective. So we'll zoom out and take a look at our handiwork. Yeah, see, it looks nice and bright. I think that'll work just fine. So we'll go over the other trails. I'll show you some of the fainter ones and see how that looks. I think it works really well. Yeah, just kind of go over it nice and smooth. It's kind of relaxing, actually, I know it's a little bit tedious, but I like it. I find it relaxing. Again, I know that other people will use range masks, color masks, whatever. I've used those before. Sometimes I'm good at it. Sometimes I'm terrible at it. So and this is actually dodging and burning is like back to the old days when the photographers had to develop all this stuff in an actual photo lab. So it's kind of OG. Alright, so we'll continue to dodge these fainter trails, and I'm almost finished here. Once I've got that completed, I'll zoom back out and show you what we've got. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? I think definitely much better than the original photo. I do think we're going to have to adjust the vibrance and saturation a little bit, just kind of make the star colors pop. So we'll do that now. And again, this is to taste. The most important thing is to just get those star trails to really pop here. I think that looks good. I think I also now at this point want to do a brightness and contrast adjustment. I think this is the right time to do that. And I I think I can't really darken the sky as much as I want to because, you know, it is light pollution. We are in the middle of New York City, and this is what it is. I think in hindsight, had I taken some darks and some flats, I could have subtracted, you know, a lot of the noise and light pollution out to improve the photo. But, you know, it was just an experiment, and I didn't take any darks or flats. I just was solely focused on getting stars, and so I'm happy with what this is. I think maybe in the future I'll give that a shot. Okay, I'm gonna merge all this into a top layer, and I'll label it probably bright stars or something like that. Now taking a look, I do think that the buildings are a little too vibrant and too saturated. I kind of like what it looked like before the adjustment, so yeah, like that right there. So I think what we'll do is we'll create a layer mask on the top layer, and we will brush over the buildings to restore its original vibrance and saturation, which I think will bring out more detail in the windows especially. So let's do that right now. So we're just gonna go over it with a brush. I'm speeding up the video so you don't have to watch everything, but see, as you can see, it's starting to restore some detail back into the buildings now, which I think is nice. Yeah, and that will actually shift the focus to the star trails and not to the buildings themselves, which is what we want. Okay, now that I've got the building vibrance and saturation adjustments where I want them, as you can see there, see, that looks much better now. I think what we want to do is crop the picture. I think there's too much going on the left side of the photo, and we really want the focus to be on the star trail, so we're going to just do a crop here and just cut out most of the building balcony on the left side there. Okay, so the photo is cropped. Now I'm going to continue masking out the balcony on the left hand side of the photo, just the way I did with the rest of the buildings in the center right of the photo. Again, we're just restoring the detail, lowering the saturation vibrance that I did previously. Okay, I've finished retouching the buildings and the balcony. I think I'm going to do one more crop just because I think there's still a little bit too much of the balcony on the left hand side. So we're going to pull it in a little bit. And I think that, yeah, I think that looks better. I think that really frames the star trails. Yeah, I think that works. That works for me. I like it. Well, there you have it. I hope this was interesting and helpful. Thanks for watching this video and coming along with me on this journey of trying to take star trails in light polluted New York City. Here's the final image.